Hi.
Hi,
I'm Raina.
I'm
And
Kathy.
and we are, wait, what? We're a
Uh,
mother-daughter duo, and it's been a minute. So this intro is a little rocky, is what it is.
But you know what? You didn't want to practice, and that's exactly. I love that because
I'm a
this
one shot. I
yeah,
can't. I
no,
gotta just do it.
it's totally true. Well, hello.
Hi.
It's not like I haven't seen you, but
I
we're
know.
trying something different. We're doing a Zoom instead of a live, and just because it's so hard for us to actually go, okay, we're going to be live on Wednesday mornings at 10:30.
Right.
Why is that, Raina?
Because I'll tell you what, I really don't always know what the day is going to hold. We've been having, some morning issues up in
Oh,
this.
you know what? That wasn't where I was going.
Oh, okay. I was like, listen, I don't always know what's going to happen in my day.
What I was going to say is that, like, you're going to school
Yes.
full time,
Yeah,
an accelerated program.
of course. Why wouldn't you?
You have two very busy boys who are in school, and you have, like you said, morning challenges. And you're also subbing.
Yes.
You're teaching yoga. You're
not right now. I gave that up, which is a little sad. That was one thing I had to kind of let go of. I was teaching Tuesday nights at Oxygen, and I loved doing it, but it was 8:15 to 9:15 on a Tuesday night, and man alive, it was just one extra thing it's so funny. I was actually talking to a friend about this a little while back, who's also a yoga teacher, and we were laughing because we both really struggle with anxiety. And being yoga teachers, it's kind of funny because you'd think that, like, teaching yoga, going to teach, it's like this relaxing thing, but it gives me so much anxiety because I'm such a, like, it matters to me so much to teach a great class. So I like prepare, my playlists have to be, like, in my mind, flawless, and I'm so nervous, and I like my stomach gets upset, like all of these anxious things happen. So I have to get there early and stay in clean. So it's not like a little thing.
It's like at least a couple of hours.
And you know what, like I am quite sad. I don't know how long I'm going to take a break from teaching because I do love it so much, but for right now, it was one of the things that had to go.
But you're taking classes, like you're doing, and that's different, right? Like you said, you don't have the anxiety, you get to go in and take it. And I think
oh my gosh, I've been taking a lot of classes because one of the things that I've been really struggling with school is it's all in this room at this desk, sitting on this chair, and sitting for extended periods of time just is not good for my body in any way. And also, like, I've always been a very active person, and I love, like, one of the ways that I really am able to take care of my mental health and, like, how I feel from day to day is, like, to move and to, like, do some sort of workout or exercise or yoga or something. And so I've kind of made that, like, a priority. Even though I don't have a ton of time, I'm like, I'm doing this class, and I'll, like, book it. And it's like, I have a reminder in my phone and I go, and I still do feel guilty. I'm still struggling with the guilt because I'm like, man, I have all this stuff to do, and I'm going to a Pilates class, or I'm going to yoga, or I'm, whatever. But it really has been such a good thing for me to do in all this, because like you said, like, I don't have that anxiety going in. Social anxiety is a whole other thing, but I don't have the anxiety going in, like, that I'm teaching. I'm going in and I'm just absolutely in appreciation for just being in the class, and I just love it. And it was funny, one of the classes I was in last week, the instructor, who's amazing, she has this amazing little studio in Sherwood Park, Pilates FX, the owner, Mel, she was teaching, and she was doing a deep stretch portion at the end of her class, and she's like, oh God, you're here, I'm nervous. And I was like, no. I'm like, no, there's no judgment here. Like there is only gratitude and appreciation because I just want to stretch. Like I love stretching. I need a deep stretch. You don't even know. I'm not going to be judging you. But it's funny because I could totally understand. Because anytime I've taught where there's been a yoga teacher in my class, I'm like, oh my God.
But think about it, like what you said, and I bet you, like, and I think anyone who goes in generally are there to like just they want the class and they are so appreciative. I'm not teaching this. And they want to cheer you on. Like,
yeah, totally.
I think that's, but it's I think it's natural to have that little bit of like, oh my gosh.
I know. Sorry, I went on a whole tangent.
No, that's, well, we have, I was trying to think when you were talking, like when was our last?
Oh my God. It was, you know what? I think it was like right after I had my surgery, we started like kind of slowing down.
I think
we did a few
through the summer because we did the wine tasting.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we did those.
I feel like it was the fall.
I have no memory.
Maybe going into like November or whatever. But it's been a while. A lot has happened. A lot has happened. A lot. Like a lot of changes, and we've been busy doing things that I think we love. Also expanding our minds, learning more. And just like you, I've really been dedicated to making time for movement and being the type of person I am. And I'm like, and I'm celebrating, like I celebrate being 60. I feel like I'm a little bit show offy these days. I'm like, yeah, I'm 60.
Do it, girl.
But it's like, I celebrate
the aging.
50.
And stretch.
I feel like it's like I'm celebrating it because there's so many people who don't make it to this point. And it's like, I feel good. And one of the ways of like going to keep moving and keep feeling pretty good is like exercise or movement. But going into that with the mindset that I don't have to be a rock star going in. I have a lot more compassion. I can say compassion, and it might be where I'm like, meh, this is where I am. Like
maybe just like grace, right? Like a little more grace for yourself than in the past. Do you? Let me ask you a question, because this like what you're saying is totally bringing up something for me that I've been experiencing now that I've been going back to classes where I'm with other people, because I really started my like group fitness and fitness journey with you in gyms, and I would go to classes with you, or they would be classes you were teaching. And we would take all sorts of different things together and have such a good time. And we even did like personal training sessions together and like those sorts of things. And we always really pushed, like, and it was like, you were like there to get your time in and make it worth it, make it count. Like you were going in there and you're getting it done. And it's so funny when you do that for so many years. It's so ingrained. It's almost like in your bones. Like it's like your muscle memory, everything. Like you don't even have to think that you're gonna go that route when you're doing exercise. So I found myself like I was in these classes with these women who are like incredible. So many of them are so fit. They're like, they are regulars at these classes, right? Like, and I'm in a very different place, and it's very humbling. I'm in a very different place. And I found myself being like, almost like, like a racehorse, just be like, whoa, you're not where you were. You need to step down and just like take a chill pill and think about, why are you here?
Yeah.
What is it that you need to get out of being here? You don't need to try to keep up. Like you need to put your blinders on, not saying like don't interact with anyone, but the comparison or the trying to keep up or the
it's okay.
Are you okay? Who was that? Oh my gosh, just 1 second.
It's real life here, real life. I think what she was talking about is, like when you're used to being at a certain fitness level and you're not there, like, do you still?
I can't hear you because I took my earbuds out. Yeah. Anyways.
Go ahead. I was saying, like, you're talking about like when you used to be at a certain level and you pushed really hard and then you're at a different level and you still have that little.
Yeah, it's like just something that it's like this unsaid thing in my body that my body wants to do. Like my body remembers, okay, this is what we do. This is this is our thing. This is our jam.
Yeah,
it does. And the endorphins start going, and then, you know, like you wanna, and like I was in this class this week and there was like, and it's kind of like this new take on aerobics. It's like bringing aerobics back,
like 80?
And like, but it's now, like it's aerobics, but it's like to now music, and they've got like different moves and stuff, and it's really fun. And I loved aerobics before, like always loved doing it. So I'm like right in it, and I like, they are playing like music that's speaking to me, and I'm like I'm lip syncing, I'm like doing it, and then they start doing all these burpees, right? And I feel like the days of me doing a burpee might be behind me, you know, like I turned 39 this year. I always pause when I say that because I'm like, am I 39? I turned 39 this year. And yeah, I was doing a modified version where I just like took a step back, and then jumping jack. And then I was doing it. But all these women are flying through these burpees. And part of me was like, just do it. Like, you can do it. And then I was like, but who am I proving this to? Like, what am I, am I going to pay for this later with a flare up of some kind, or pain, or not feeling my best, or having that like post exercise exhaustion that I get? Yeah. Is it going to serve me to push myself in that way? Because don't get me wrong, there's absolutely nothing wrong with pushing yourself.
No,
I think it's great. But I think there's also a lot to be said with knowing your limits and knowing why you're doing something and what you're hoping to get out of it.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think like for me, it's like there's different stages in our lives, and there's things that come up, and maybe our fitness takes a back seat, or we go through surgery, there's a whole lot of things that can come up. And then I've been very, very cautious about going into any kind of group exercise because I notoriously hurt myself. And I can say to you, in my 50s, mid 50s, I was doing burpees, and I love them.
Yeah, like I'm not saying people who are 39 can't do burpees.
But I was very fit. I was like, we were working out. If I don't think I could get up. If I got down, I don't think I could get up. Like that was one of the reasons that I decided to try Pilates, because I don't really have any core strength. I walk, and I do spin, and I do little weights and stuff, but I really haven't been doing anything with my core. And I think it's really, really important. And then like doing a squat or getting down to pick something up.
Yeah.
I have a really hard time getting up. And I'm like, well, you know
those are functional movements that you need. Mm-hmm.
So that's why I went back. And I think to what you were alluding to with me, like, do I have that drive?
Yeah.
Sorry,
long way around.
No. I use the Peloton app, and I have a Peloton bike. And I love it. The reason I love it so much is because I can adjust it for my body, and my back doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
And it just works for me. But I do find that probably because it's you and the instructor. And I mean, I've done live. It doesn't matter if it's live or it's recorded. It's the same for me, but there aren't people doing the class. So it's just you and the instructor, and they're telling you what to do. And I can see the numbers, and I'm definitely a numbers person. Mm-hmm. I like to see like I don't have my Fitbit on.
I know.
And I walk,
when you told me that the other day, I felt that in
yeah,
my, like, I was like, oh
did it
my
even
God.
happen? Did it even happen?
And you know, it's so funny because it's like, you know, at the end of the day, like, does it really matter? But at the same time, it's like when you're doing that for your mental health and your physical well-being, and you're trying to keep a routine and like keep track of things, and it helps you to keep going.
Yeah, it's
that matters.
I like to have all of that stuff. So anyway, when they're pushing me and they're telling me the numbers to use, I actually will find that I'm like trying to achieve what they're asking, but I can pull it back. But I'm trying to have that balance where I don't want to cop out, but I don't exactly what you said. I don't want to have that exercise fatigue afterwards or hurt myself. And so going into a studio, and I go to raise the bar, I'm doing their Pilates, warm Pilates on the mat.
It's so good. I took one class with you and it was awesome.
So I did my second one with a friend of mine, and I'm like, it's so good. So I asked Joanna, and she's very good at cueing. It's a very, it's dimly lit in there, and I never feel, I do like it. Like you're on the floor, you can hear what she's saying, you can see her, she's raised up, but I don't ever feel like I'm comparing myself to anyone. Like it's just almost like you're by yourself. I'm going to try a class. It's called, like I asked her, I said, well, is there anything else I can do? But I don't want to hurt myself, because I said, I want to get into a group fitness thing. And she said, strong. And I'm like,
what? You're strong. You can do that.
Oh my gosh, Raina, the 2-pound weights. Hey, bring them on. I have done nothing. So, but she goes, no, do it. It's a good class. The ladies are good. You can start where you are, and you'll get the movement. So I'm going to try it, and I'll see.
Yeah.
But I
would love to hear your experience.
Yeah. I feel like I'm going to be okay. I honestly, because of where I am in my life, I know I can't compete. Like, I know I can't. Like, it's not, I don't need
But it's not even about that anymore.
Yeah, I don't need to. I don't need to. And I know that it's
just a mindset change, right?
Totally.
Like, and I definitely, like, I've really noticed since, like, putting myself back into group fitness, which was a really hard thing for me to do. Yeah. I had to just kind of like, do it. And it was hard for me to go. It's hard because, I'm going to be really honest, and like, I guess trigger warning, because we're talking about fitness and body image and different things and abilities.
Like, and
things like that.
Subject to.
And so, like, going in, I was really anxious because, and I think it can really tie in with like what you specialize in with grief. Mm-hmm. I was really struggling because the last time I was in group fitness, I was in a different place in my body, in my health, and in my life. Yeah. And I remember, like, when I was teaching, booty yoga classes like 10 times a week, and I was so strong and so fit, and I felt so like confident in my movement and confident in my fitness abilities. And I was never, like, I still had body image issues, but when it came to doing what I was doing in a group setting, I felt good. Yeah. And to walk into a new place where you don't know people, where you don't really know, like, I have never been a Pilates person. No. So I didn't really know what to expect. And for me, for the same reasons, like, ever since I had my surgery, I've been having lower back issues and pain, and my core, and apparently my glutes are what I need to work on. And what does Pilates work on mostly? It's like your glutes and your core. So I've been, that was kind of my reason behind it. But in taking, they have like quite a variety of classes there. I found myself this week, I was in one of the classes, which was I didn't really know what to expect. It's called high fitness, and it's so fun. And the instructors are like, they're like these little balls of energy, and you would love them. They like coordinate their outfits, and they wear like backwards ball caps, and they're so stinking cute. And they're like, you would love them. They're so wonderful. And I'm in this class, and I'm at the back, and I look around, and I'm doing the thing where I'm like comparing, and I'm in the back, and I'm looking at myself, and I'm trying to keep up. Right. And one of my big insecurities, and we are real vulnerable here, is you and I both, it just runs in the family. Like, I'm a sweater. Like, I sweat. No matter if I'm like the fittest I've ever been or I'm unfit.
More fit. The more fit I get, the more I sweat.
Yeah. And we're doing like full on like cardio aerobics. And I guess after they were like posting in stories after that, this was like the hardest one they've ever done. So I'm like, oh, great.
I was just in that. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, wonderful. So we were about 40 minutes in to the 60 minutes class. And I was trying really hard to keep up, and I kept kind of screwing up the moves. And I was so just like taken off guard. Like, I started crying in the back of the class, and I'm getting emotional now, but it was like, I felt like in my body, like trapped in a way, like just like I couldn't do what I wanted to be able to do. And I was struggling, and I felt embarrassed, and nobody's looking at me. Nobody's thinking that. They're all wonderful. They're all doing their things. And because I'm sweating so much, like, and it's dim in there, you know, like nobody could tell, but there are just tears streaming down my face. And I just kept doing the modify, and I'm going through the motions, and I could barely hold it together. And I was just like, you know, oh boy, I'm like, there is some real like grief there.
Yeah.
With, you know, like the loss of what you used to be able to do, or how you used to feel when you used to exercise.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I felt like I was on the struggle bus. And I was like, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
What am I doing? And, you know, it took like a lot of like, after I got into my car after, and I sat down, I was like, no, you know what? I am proud of myself for going. I'm proud of myself for putting myself out there, for doing this for me, because I love exercise. And I'm not where I was. That's okay. I'm not going to also do that thing to myself where it's like, well, I'm going to get myself back there. You know, I just want to focus on feeling better, feeling stronger, maybe not, you know, feeling like I was going to die, you know?
I like 100%. I hear you so much. Going through
really real moment for me.
Well, and thank you for sharing, because
first episode back, she cried.
So hard. It is so hard. And, you know, I'm listening to you, and I was playing a story in my head, where I'm on a journey, which, I mean, you and I have talked about it. I've sought out help, because I have, and this is like trigger warning. I don't know, like we'll probably have to plaster.
No, we'll have to like do the trigger warning.
I suffer from an eating disorder. I'm 60 years old. I have body dysmorphia. I have a lot of things that I've stuffed down. So trying to get comfortable.
Yeah.
And in a body that I don't love. And because and trying to accept the fact that it's not my fault. Society is, I mean, man, we can go, there's all the isms, and just, we're told from the get-go, we're not good enough as we are. So if we thought we were good enough, we wouldn't be chasing these things that are supposed to make us better.
Yeah.
So in my head, I'm like, okay, I'm working out, and anyone asks, I'll be like, I shouldn't have to say like, actually I am fit. I may not look fit by your standards, but I am fit.
Yeah.
And I was thinking like the outward appearance of people, we've decided that, oh, okay, Kathy or Raina, you know what? You're not a fit person.
Yeah.
When
oh man, I know that struggle.
When actually you are a fit person.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I was preparing myself for a conversation that I may never have.
It's so funny too,
to be able to justify the body that carries me.
Well, and you know what? It's that whole thing that like, that just brought up for me, like when I was, on my honeymoon, and I was so concerned about wearing my bathing suit on the beach. And it's like, nobody cares, truly. Like nobody's looking at you because everybody is so insecure about their own shit that they're concerned about what everybody's thinking about them. And if they're not, I hope they're not. I hope that they have freedom in that. But it's the same thing with being at the gym or, those sorts of things. It's like, if we could just get over ourselves and recognize that we're causing so much extra suffering for really no reason. And that's what anxiety is. Like, I'm not sitting here saying, just turn it off and don't think that way, because I get it more than anyone, like that you can't do that. But it's just, that's where I find the humor in it, because it's like, nobody really is probably even just thinking about you at all. It's your own.
Even if they are, it's a reflection of them, not you, and what they've been taught. They've been taught that larger bodies or differing abilities. If you're different and we don't understand you, you don't fit this.
Yeah.
The society has said is the correct version. If they're even thinking about you, it's really not relevant, and it's
not really about
easy.
you.
Yeah, it isn't about you. Like, what does Brene Brown say? Like, I don't want, unless you're in the arena with me, I don't need you to like, I don't need your
opinion doesn't matter. Yeah. Unless you're in there getting your
ass kicked.
kicked.
And it's like, be in my head.
Yeah. Right. Welcome to the shit show.
But so it's a very, very difficult process, I think, for a lot of people, because we have been conditioned that we're not good enough. And so when you were telling your story, I remembered when I was 27. No, gosh, I was younger than that. Jeepers. I was 23. It was after I had Jill.
You were just a baby.
After I had Jill.
You were a baby finishing having your babies.
Just that I was done having my babies. And I went to a fitness studio, and I stood at the back of the class, and I was heavier than I'd ever been. I just had a baby. And again, we're told that you better snap into being a certain way. And I was really, that was my eating disorder had started in my when I was 19. So I was in that kind of a mode anyway. So I'm trying to heal myself. So I'm going to go and be fit. So I stood at the back of the class, and I remember looking at the lady at the front who was in it. This was aerobics, and there was like probably 50 people. It was at Gold's Gym, and they were having this free weekend of working out. And I had on so many clothes, like such big clothes and so heavy that I was drenched. Yeah. And I could barely do anything. And I was so disgusted with myself. So I had so much hate that I couldn't actually look at myself. I would catch a glimpse, and then I would look at the instructor, and that's who I pretended to be. That's how I got through the class. And then I went full circle. I ended up working there and teaching there, and was told, and I was fit, and I was at a fit weight, whatever. I was never ever the right weight, according to many people. But anyway, I was told by the owner that I could teach, and the only reason they were letting me teach was because of my personality. I didn't look the part, and that they were going to see how it went.
Yeah.
And I remember being like, how I was the fittest I'd ever been.
Yeah.
I felt confident, and then
yeah.
all of it gone.
I can totally relate to that, being in the yoga and fitness world, like even just 4 years ago. I mean, I busted my butt and I worked, and I think that ends up happening to a lot of people in larger bodies that are in that space, is you work like 10 times harder to prove yourself and to try to be the best at what you're doing, to be like, but look at how hard I try, and look at how good I am, and look at my personality, and how I can fill my classes. And I remember going to audition to teach, or doing demos during the different yoga trainings that I would take, and just being like heartbroken every time, because at that time, going through that journey, I still, like, external validation and recognition was still such a huge thing that I was seeking. And the mentors or the teachers that were judging what I was doing, being so surprised that I could do what I was doing, and commenting on that and being like, whoa, like I didn't think you were going to be good. And I didn't think you were going to be able to do that.
Where we want to scream, like, it's like, hey, I'm strong. I'm fit. Like, just because I don't look a certain way. And I can tell you that going to raise the bar, that is not like, they are so not about like what you look like. And they're very, very much about, I'm getting hot here, very much about your mental health and your physical well-being. And
well, I think it's really lovely that, like, I think that's not
the norm,
like that people are not accepting that would be a way of interacting with people in their fitness journey now. I think we've really come a long way.
I think so too. I'm happy for that. And the insecurities that we bring. Yes. And they're from the battle scars that we've had.
Yeah. Cause in my experience in that class, like Pilates FX has been nothing but welcoming and warm, and like everybody was so wonderful, but it's the battle I'm having inside that has nothing to do with the place or the people. It's literally what's going down in my own head. And I think I just didn't anticipate how much of a mental battle this was going to be for me, like on the inside, as opposed to like, yes, physically it's been a real challenge, because I'm remembering or thinking about what I used to be able to do.
Yeah.
And there's that disconnect there when you're in a body that's different and has lost some of those abilities just because you're out of practice and like the regularity of what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
It's a real mental battle, but not to get taken down into like a dark place with it. For me, at least, that's been my experience. And I think
that it's so important that that we hold space for that, like for ourselves, and go like, okay, I have to unlearn a lot of things. And that's what I'm in the process of. I'm fighting learning something different, because I believe it's ingrained in me. It's been ingrained in me since I can remember. So it's been over 50 years that the body that I have is not correct. That I have to change it. And it's like, and I have to look at my own biases, and I don't look at other people, and like, I really don't care. But I obviously, like, I care so much about
your own
this, that there's more to it. And I've got to get in there and be more curious and like be kinder. And, you know, one of my therapy sessions, my therapist said to me, she goes, you know, how about we don't say, I hate my body.
Right.
How about we just say, you know what? going to be neutral here today. I'm struggling, but you know what? I'm just going to be neutral. So every day I
be Switzerland. We're going to be neutral.
You know what? I think the more, like every once in a while I'll catch a glimpse and I laugh, like not at myself. I laugh and think, you know, I'm squishy. Like, and you know who loves my squishiness? My grandbabies. Your kids love to hug me. They like to be like, that gets me emotional. I'm like, why would I hate a safe place for my grandchildren?
Yeah.
So it's who, and you know what, you guys, we did not plan this conversation.
No.
So I want to read something from this amazing book that I have. The Body is Not an Apology. And this is in the foreword. It isn't even in the.
Yes, you read this to me.
Yes. So this spoke to me with like, it just gutted me. It was not until I was in my 30s that it occurred to me that perhaps I didn't want to spend the rest of my life fighting myself. Perhaps the victory that lay at the end of the long road of self-denial and repression was not a reward that I actually wanted. Perhaps all the love and acceptance that had been promised me if I could just hate myself into a new me didn't exist. Perhaps I was going to spend my entire life fighting my own existence and then just die. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Right.
That was like a gut punch. And I can honestly say that I'm a very positive person. I'm very happy. You are as well. Like we have full, wonderful lives.
Yeah.
There's this boulder that I carry that I'm trying to chip away at, and it flares its ugly head. I'm not going to call it ugly. It flares its head. And it'll talk to me. And I believe that it's my rational voice.
Right.
Because
you have to be able to.
Yeah. And trying to discern. And when I read that, I'm like, no, I got to change some things here. Because what do I want to be remembered as?
Yeah.
Like,
that post you did was
how
really
do I
good.
want to be remembered? And
yeah.
It's like, I don't want people to go, oh,
yeah,
she was a yo-yo dieter.
Yeah.
She was.
But you know what about that? Like, not a lot of people, like if we're really real here, like not a lot of people get to see that part of your life, because a lot of people who yo-yo diet or have those struggles, it's not something you share with a lot of people, right? Like but it matters because that's your experience in life. And I think what speaks to me in that is like, you know, because I know I've written this in my journal before, is like, I'm so tired of being at war with myself, of battling against myself and feeling at odds with myself and feeling like I'm not good enough, or I'm never going to measure up, or just beating myself up about every little thing, you know, and that's what speaks to me in that, because that's not how you want to experience your life, being at war with yourself, right?
And it does take up so much space.
It does. It takes up immense space, because I remember, you know, like when I have gone into periods of time where I've tried to look at how I can repair my relationship with myself, and you know, it's really challenging to look at that relationship, because when you are able to get really vulnerable and honest with yourself, and you take a look at who the biggest bully is in your life is yourself. And you know, that is a really hard thing to own up to, and to also like grow out of,
Yeah.
to
it's
work
a habit.
past.
It's a habit. It's our safety net. If we're mean to ourselves, no one can be meaner than me.
No.
Like no one's going to hurt me more than I can hurt myself. I'm going to do it before anyone else can.
Yeah.
And it's like this self-loathing is like, that's not what I want to teach. I never wanted to teach that to my children, although my actions spoke much louder than my words. But I look now at my grandchildren and it's like, you know, it's so prevalent what we look like still. And it's just like, I want them to know that they are valuable as they are.
Well, and it's true. And like with the whole like bullying and punishment thing, like, you know, kind of circling back to the whole working out aspect. One of the things that I'm really trying to, like, it's so like meshed in together is my whole life with fitness has been like, fitness is what you do to change your body. It's what you do to make up for what you ate, or take away what you ate, or it's a way of punishing yourself.
I was going to say fitness is like,
and even though I've never honestly felt like fitness was punishment, because I really enjoy it, but it's always been the thing I've done to try to change my body. Oh, if I just do this, I can look like this. And that for me, no,
I was
like,
thinking something.
That for me is, I think, the thing that is the hardest mentality for me to change. Because even when I go into a workout, like thinking, okay, like I'm doing this workout because my anxiety is really high right now. I've been sitting for a while. I'm getting stiff. I'm feeling kind of low. I just need to mix things up a bit, and I need to move. I need to move energy. I need to move my body.
Yeah.
While I'm moving, those thoughts start creeping up about like, oh, I wonder how many calories I'm burning. I wonder, you know, like if I did this how many times a week, like how would that affect what I look like? And it just is such a natural way of me to think, because it's what I've done my whole.
Totally. Like if we're being completely honest.
And we are. We went there.
I'll tell you a funny story, then I'll tell you another, like something will line up with that. So back in the day in Wainwright, you were like 6. My sister lived in Cold Lake, and we used to go to Cold Lake and hang out with them. And her and I would go for runs. Like we would run together.
Yeah.
And I remember asking her, I'm like, what do you think we would look like if we didn't run? And she looked at me and she said exactly the same. And you know what? She was 100% right. Like it was like, and I mean, of course you could see muscles and stuff like that, but it was like this, like we never had these amazing transformations by pushing our bodies so much. But it was just, and it makes me laugh now, but it was like, and even like Sarah and I running and training for the death race. Like I am very much a person who has to have a goal.
Yeah.
And that was the ultimate. Like I am not built to run. Like I'm not built to run long distance.
We tried.
I broke down hard, but we were running on pavement, probably 14 kilometers. We were going to someone's house for a barbecue. And like after 10 kilometers, my body like would start shutting down. Feet were burning. Like it was just awful. And I'd be miserable. But she looked at me and she goes, so Mom, did you think we'd be the same weight or heavier? Like this, we've been doing this for 6 months and we were heavier. Because we were on this plan that we got from someone who like, we were running slow and long periods of time. We didn't need the calories that like I loved every second of eating those things, but I didn't look better, but I don't even think I was fitter because I wasn't running fast enough. But anyway, so you talking about like, you know, when you were talking about like why you work out and you battle now, it's like you're working out really to release anxiety, not feel stiff, feel better, feel stronger. Like these are all really good things.
Yeah.
But that underlying thing that creeps in is
always
it's going to affect like, oh, I'm going to change. I'm going to look different. I'm going to look better. Yeah. So I was thinking about this today because I was like, man, I do spin a lot. Like you would think You would think that my quads.
And that's the thing is it's like, you know, it's proven like by science that exercise is really like 1% of the equation. You know, like it's not like it doesn't, that's not what it's really designed.
But I'm just saying it crept in and and then I laughed.
No. I'm just saying to you, it's so funny. And I think the reason why it's so hard to break that connection in our minds is because that's how it's marketed to us.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Is change your body by doing this fitness
spot reducer.
Yeah. And, or like, do this specific exercise, do this, do that. And this is what targets belly fat. This is what does, and you can't spot reduce on your body. You believe me, I have tried all the things. And it used to be like my job was to do these programs to like completely transform my body. And, you know, it's not a thing. No. It's not. But there's always that hope that it is, you know, like because, it's like,
it's unlearning
the
things that we've been taught. And anyway, I do know, and I can honestly say that I work out because I am 60, because it's important to me, like, just like we're talking about having mobility and being able to bend down
and bone density
down, and get up. Just being like, going out and kicking a soccer ball with my grandkids, going for long walks, carrying one of them, like being of service to my family. You know, just that's why I do it. And I do it also for my mental health.
Yeah. And that's such an important thing because like I was on a walk the other day with Mason. We had gone on like a couple walks in the evenings together, and I can't even remember what he said to me, but he was just so appreciative that I was able to do that with him. And like when I play soccer with him or basketball or something like that, because there was
basketball.
There was a good chunk of time of my life where I literally wasn't able to do anything physical with my kids. And the guilt and the shame and the like sadness I felt of not being able to do things with them really sucked. And, you know, where I'm at now, like a lot of the goals I have for myself and a lot of like the fitness benefits that I want to have, the health benefits I want to have are so that I can do things like freaking keep up with them,
little boys that are like,
and have the energy and not say like, oh, I'm too tired. Like I'm not going to do that with you.
So true. I think that's beautiful. And that's evolving. And I know that it's an ever, like there's going to be a battle for a period of time. And I hope that, that we can move through this and actually go, like I'm okay. And a lot of days I am really okay. Yeah. And there's those days when I'm not, and that's normal. And like,
and we're human.
Like how you talked about grief, like it's actually mourning the loss of hopes and dreams and expectations that you had for your body that were given to you by society. But it's like, I never got that, or I was so close and now look at me.
Or like, I had it and now I don't.
I let it go. There's something wrong with me. No.
Well, and I think too, like it's important to be said, like I honestly have really started to embrace the gray area. I used to be like, oh, I'm definitely on this side of things, like fitness and health, and like you need to look a certain way and that's what you got to do. And then I like went over to this side and I'm like, no, like anti-diet, anti, you know, workouts, like no. And you can go one side or the other. But it's like, I really believe that there is so much power in like giving yourself a break for one, and just like being able to go into the gray area and literally take stock of your own values, needs, wants, desires, and find like what's in alignment with you. Because I don't think that there's anything wrong with wanting to look a certain way, wanting to feel a certain way, wanting to to do certain things. Like I want to make that clear. Like
it's everyone is an individual and we each have a journey.
Yes.
It's like whatever's a healthy, like if anything, if you're doing something that is not health, like, oh gosh, I hate even using that term.
I know.
But is it has a negative impact on your health to achieve something.
Yeah. I think that's such an important point, because I think where a lot of people end up getting offended or think like, God, like what is their problem? Is it's like, there are some people, and I just find this fascinating, and I am jealous, that there are some people who just have like a completely peaceful relationship with food, exercise, you know, like they're in a good zone and it doesn't take up all this space, all the space, and they're good. And then they're like, so like, what is your issue? Just do this, this, and this. Trauma. And you'll, yes. But I'm being sarcastic when I say like, what's your issue? Like they might look at it and be like, I don't get it, because they don't have that internal experience. But then there are other people, and there's all different, you know, like colors of the rainbow of trauma and different experiences, that's not the case, where it's not as cut and dry as doing A, B, C, D, and you're fine. Yeah. It's like, that's not how it works. Right. So I think it's just like, to each his own, like what works for one doesn't always work for the other.
It won't. We're all unique and our needs are different, and you can't, like, that's why, like, diet culture doesn't work.
No, that's a whole nother
podcast.
But we should wrap.
Okay, I wanted to ask you before we wrap this up.
Might have to do a part 2.
Yeah. Did you watch Lizzo's Big Girls?
Well, I ended up canceling my Amazon Prime for all sorts of reasons. Yeah. But I haven't seen it yet. I really want to watch it.
I watched it. I watched the whole thing. Sarah told us about it, and she goes, I just watched the beginning. And she was the one who said you have to watch it. It got her like quite emotional. It was, it was very interesting because of like their stories and just how incredibly strong and fit you have to be to do.
Oh my gosh.
Like that kind of dance.
Any choreography, any like,
so much. And anyway, it was just, honestly, it was refreshing because you look and you think, wow, like exactly, they can do that.
Yeah.
I like anybody. I look at any dancer and think they can do that. And it's just like, it was very, I'm glad I watched it because it gave me another perspective. And, Lizzo is like just trying to say to the world, like, just let me be who I am.
Yeah.
Like, and there's a lot of haters out there. But she was very much about like building up their confidence, asking the hard questions. It was interesting. It was interesting.
Yeah.
It is like a reality TV
that was
show.
The one thing that was like, when I remember seeing the trailer for it, I'm like, why do they have to compete against each other and get cut? Like, that's the only part of it.
You know what's interesting though? They like, the premise is like, there's like 13 and there's a few that didn't make it, but the majority of them did. Like
okay. I thought it was like one of those shows where
they had a very short amount of time to get these dancers to go to this one place. But no, it was really interesting because
I have to see it.
Spoiler alert. There's a couple of girls that get cut, or you think they're not really cut. She never really cuts anyone. They're involved. They will be involved with her. It's interesting. But anyway, they were on Saturday Night Live.
I know, I saw
those 2 girls though. I was like, wait a minute. They had gone through it. And I was like, and one of them is quite a bit older. She's in her mid 30s. And you think, oh my God, that's old. No, but for dancers.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right.
Pushing boundaries. And they're it is very interesting.
Yeah.
And it is a little bit like I don't think it's as bad as a lot of the, those kind of reality shows. I found it, I liked it. I actually liked it. I would give it like 1.5 thumbs up.
Out of how many? I guess 2.
I was like, yeah.
I was thinking of stars. But what if you're someone with 3 thumbs? Okay, that's a whole other issue. I think we need to.
Yeah, we're wrapping
put a pin
this up.
in it.
Yeah. So yeah, I got.
We don't know how to end. We don't know how to wrap it up.
We don't know.
Well, you know what? We have so much to say. There's so much going on. We barely scratched the surface.
We didn't even talk.
No, we took a random left turn because of me. And you know what? We'll have to cover the rest of it, or a piece of it, next time.
Sure will. So thanks for tuning in if you did. And there'll be notes. Raina's going to do all that, because I don't know how to.
And we can't do our pineapple heads or bananas.
I know, we just got to be. Actually, I think we could, but I don't know what would happen. I think you can do.
Stay tuned.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's it.
Bye.
Bye. I will talk to you later.
Okay.